Hey guys, welcome to J Plays. I am Iceman. This is my, well, I was about to say playthrough. This is the latest devblog for my work on Nanatama Chronicle of Dungeon Maker, or as I like to call it, Dungeon Maker 3 for the Sony PSP. Alright. So in the previous devblog, we had the 7th floor finished. Alright, put the volume down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so we had the 7th floor finished. That was, how long ago was that? So that was back on the 14th of June. It's about almost 2 weeks ago. So since then, I've continued to play through the content of the game, translating as I go, and we now have the 8th floor finished. So, woohoo! That means we got now 80% of the game done for a standard playthrough, where you play through to the 10th floor. Now, this is me assuming that the monster who's sealing all the beings away into orbs is on the 10th floor. We'll find that out when I get to that. But anyways, so yeah, so everything up to the end of the 8th floor is now done. Literally, I just a few minutes ago finished translating some slight little bits into the 9th. Just because I always like to cover, at least cover, like, I always like to see what's in the ruin section of the 9th floor, and then translate that as well. And then release. So you get a little bit extra with these things. Alright. Now I'm going to go through the notes as I tend to in these videos. Let me just look up what's been done since the previous ones. Okay, so when we finished things off, we were at the day 54, I think. Is that right? Yeah, 54. Okay, so it was 54 as of that point. I've now played up to day number 63, so about 9 additional days. Alright, so in those days, let me see. There's a conversation that you have with a griffin. Now this, let's just go straight there and I'll show you where in the dungeon this is. Now you're gonna see some like because the ruin section in the game gets progressively harder with like harder and harder monsters as you improve your dungeon. So the base ruin level, which is what this is, even though I know the top section of that map is still in Japanese, I hope to one day have that resolved. That's just beyond my skill level as of this point in time. I may delve into that stuff and try my hand at fixing it too, when I fix the main translation work of the, like, just conversations and items and stuff. But for now, I'm not touching that stuff. Like, I just want to work on translating the conversations, items, enemies, you know, enemy info and whatever. Anyway, if you travel up from the 8th floor, it takes you over to... Surprised we haven't been attacked by anything yet. That's in this new section here. There we go. Here's some enemies. Just standard, our Rawns though. And if you can see by my, new helmet I've got on, new pumpkin helmet, I always like Halloween kind of themed gear. You get this from, a quest in the 8th level. Let me just clear this area up. Alright, let's wait for the music to calm down. There we go. Okay, so in this bit here is you'll find when you get to this, a red orb will be there and a griffin will appear, which you get a pretty damn easy boss battle, because this game gives you the orb characters to use. So as long as you use orb characters, the battle isn't that hard at all. I beat it first attempt. So you fight that, and then you gain your first creature that you can summon. So if you can see on the map, this character here, Griff, that's who you get after the battle. So it was a griffin, so in short, Griff, so you get that. Okay? So you get that character, and then you can use it in battle. I find it semi-useful. Just a word of warning, with the creature summons, which have red orbs rather than the blue orbs for the orb characters, those ones tend to last a much shorter span of time. I'm talking about 5-6 seconds max, and then they disappear. Whereas an orb character might last maybe 15-20 seconds or something, maybe 30 seconds. I don't know, something like that anyway. So anyways, the content for that's done, translated. Let's see what came up after next. There's an angel ring. Now, angel ring, you encounter... And by the way, here is where you come up. You come up here in the elevator from the 8th floor, and then you can explore this new section. So if you do go up this way, if I remember correctly... Just a minute. Now, the angel ring, if I remember correctly, is here. Yep, in here. That is... I think I've got that equipped at the moment. Yep, angel ring, this one. So this one actually has some pretty decent stats. It gives you plus 20 HP and MP. So, unfortunately it doesn't give you like HP regen or anything like that, or MP regen would be awesome. I haven't found any items like that in this game so far. In Dungeon Maker 1 and 2, you got it from a title. So, I don't know. We'll see if you can unlock it in this one. I don't know. I hope you do. See, Dungeon Maker 1 had both a healing and an MP restoration ring, whereas 2 only had a HP regen ring that I could find. Who knows, maybe there was one in 2 for MP, but I never found it. In this one, I have yet to find anything that does that. If I did find one, believe me, I would have that equipped. Alright. So, that was Angel Ring. Rockbuster was the next thing. That was a very misleading axe weapon. Let me jump back to town to show you that one. That's in my... no, not here. That is in my mail... no? Oh, my storage box, that's right. Take it out. Rockbuster. So the translation on it said, Rockbuster can bust rocks. That's what I could fit in. I think it said something like it can carve through rocks or something like that. So that had me thinking, oh my god, can we actually clear the rock sections in the ruins, in the dungeons? No, I gave it a try. No, it doesn't work. It's a misleading title. It's full bullshit. No, you can't break rocks with it. That's so unfair. I was thinking, oh my god, all the areas we'll be able to get to now. No, can't do that. Very misleading title. The other one was the Winged Beast Orb. That was for the Griffin. That is right... That item is... this one. WB Orb. So WB Orb stands for Winged Beast Orb. Again, I have very strict spacing limitations, so, you know, I do what I can. That was all for day 55, was it? Oh, no, keep going. After that, there's a quest that you get. I got it. This is in the evening part. A conversation for Claire, Frederick, and Sophia was translated, all relating to a quest that you get. I've completed it by this point in time now, but that is this one. PK.W. So PK.W stands for Pocket Watch. Again, space limitations. I can't do anything. So as it says there, so that your quest is to get the Pocket Watch. The actual translation is that it's get the stolen pocket watch that was taken from Claire's family house or something like family mansion or something like that. And that I couldn't fit that within the limitations. But anyway, that quest translated. A new building type that you gain access to is the medium room, which is this one. So this existed in the other games. So it's basically the same as a medium room, like this one with 2 doors, which is this one. So exactly the same as this one, except it only has 1 door. So it can only be entered from one direction. That was translated. A new monster was researched, which was the Goblin Shaman. By the way, I hope you like me going through and showing you what the stuff is that's translated. If you don't like that stuff, please tell me, and I'll keep it short and sweet. But I kind of like, I don't know. I mean, this takes me so damn long to go through it. I may as well sit and kind of guide you through what I did. When I can remember what I did. This is what it's good, having the notes that guide me towards, telling you what I've done. Where's Goblin Shaman? I'm pretty sure that's under Demi. There we are, right here, Goblin Shaman. So, if you've played Dungeon Maker 1 and 2, you'd be familiar with this enemy. There's a lot of enemies from Dungeon Maker 1 and 2 in this game. Just like how 2 was basically had all that 1 had, just with more enemies. 3 is this exactly the same kind of concept. You've got the same kind of thing. You get the same base enemies from the previous ones, with some extra ones thrown in. I will say this game does actually throw in quite a bit more in the way of new enemies. I mean, it does differ based on what floor you're on, though. Some are more than others. Some are... You be quiet, you. Sorry, my cat's trying to talk to me. Yes, some have more than others. Some you'll be primarily only seeing the stuff that's, from the previous games. Others will be a mix. Some will be mainly stuff from this game. Anyway, so the text you see there, that's all translated. So now if you do happen to kill a Goblin Shaman, come back to town and get the money for the research, you'll be able to read that too. What else? So that was all for day 55. For day 56, there was a conversation with Frederick. That was to unlock a room, the Bar Kit. So Bar Kit is another one that's in Dungeon Maker 1 and 2. I'll show you that in just... Actually, let's go over to the dungeon and I'll show you that in action. Alright, let's go straight to... Yep, cool, we're on the 8th floor. Where's the quickest way to get to one of those? This way. See if I have to fight anything on the way. No, that's the field. That's spoilers. I'll get to that eventually. Hey, by the way, skeletons, I think I showed them in the previous ones. If you've played the other games, this enemy is very common. Originally introduced in Dungeon Maker 1, you fight lots of them in Dungeon Maker 2, and in this one you fight lots of them as well. Oh, crap. Okay. That thing, by the way, the Skull Dragon, that's one of the mini-bosses. Let me show you a mini-boss fight. I might as well, since I'm here. Doesn't have anything to do with this level specifically, but... These can be pretty fun. These are a great source of experience points for your orb characters, and for your skills. Hopefully I don't get killed fighting it. They're not like... This one's not overly difficult. Some are more harder than others. Ooh. I was gonna say, as long as you kind of keep your distance and keep changing the spot you're on, this one is not too bad, especially if you've got some powered up attacks. Like I've got bow leveled up quite a bit, so it deals some decent damage on some of the abilities. Like this one here. I use that all the time. Its effectiveness varies based on what you're using it against. Ooh. I should have classed the Griffin. Oh shit. They don't kill it in time. I'll show you what the Griffin character looks like if you summon it. I think he's probably going to die before then. Oh wait. Alright, see the character that just appeared in the level? And he helped. Oh, and he leveled up once. Cool. So that there character, that is the Griffin that you can summon. Anyway, so that, by what I just showed you just then, that's something you're going to be doing a lot in this game, and I recommend doing it even after you've done the side quest to kill that particular monster. I would highly recommend doing that. It can be a nice grind to get experience for your orb characters and to level up your skills quickly. This is turning into a bit of an adventure to get to the room, but who cares? Sometimes it's more about the journey than the destination, you know? Okay, anyway, we're here. Let me just clear the room out in case there's anything. Okay. So, what I'm walking around right now, this is the bar room. So, if you've played Dungeon Maker 1 and 2, this room should be very common to you. This one's... The description in this game is that the bar is a room best for humanoid-type characters, and I would definitely agree that that's the case. So, be sure to use that if you want to... in this game, it says to place it so that you get the shamans to appear. Yes, that would be true. Alright. I'll let this music play and continue with what I was going through. Okay, so for day 56, that was the bar kit. The only other thing that day was a conversation with Elena. Now, that jumps us into day 57. So the next things that were translated was Chainfold and Spiked Club. Now, cool, this is one thing I really like in this game in particular, is the gear file and the monster file. So, like, it's like, you know, research stuff. My only thing is, I wish they'd added a little bit of XCOM into this. Now, if you don't know what XCOM is, I don't blame you one bit, because it has absolutely nothing to do with Dungeon Maker. But basically, XCOM was this series of games where you would kill... Well, you were like running a government organization, defending the Earth against an alien invasion. And so you'd kill, like, send squads, a squad of troops against, like, aliens attacking a place, or you'd shoot a ship down, kill enemies, take them back for research and their technology. Anyway, so I'd love it if they had a bit of that in this game. So that, you know, that as you're researching new weapons and things, maybe that would, like, unlock new things that you could get from the blacksmith, you know? And then as you would research enemies, maybe you'd be able to get increased damage against them, just like in XCOM. And maybe that in itself unlocks extra things. That would be really cool. That would, you know, and if there was like an incentive to continuously keep killing enemies and stuff, like for increased benefits or something like that. But unfortunately, that doesn't exist. So there's the beginning of something really cool here, but it could have been taken further. But unfortunately, this is the last game in the series, and even, you know, and this one only came out in Japan, which sucks big time. But hey, if I can get this up to polish one day, then it won't matter, because you better play this in crystal clear English and with everything all hunky-dory, you know, nice and detailed explanations. Right now it's not like that, but I hope that one day it will be like that. Anyway, tangent over. So what, anyway, chainfold. Let me see, chainfold. That should be here, I think. Chainfold? No? There it is, right there. Chainfold. Ah, that one. Okay. Yep, so that's here. Chainfold. Spiked Club was the next one. I was using one of those for a while. Spiked Club with this one here. I'm using a Bastard Sword at the moment. But Spiked Club was what I was using before that. That one actually does some decent damage and has a nice radius of attack. So I highly recommend that weapon once you get to about the 8th floor. Let me think. And that did it for... Oh no, that was for the morning section for day 57. In the evening, conversation with Elena, Frederick, and Sophia was that was translated. Oh, okay. Oh, and that was because I got a new quest, which was for Pumpkin Leader. So you know how I'm walking around in the game with this pumpkin head on the moment? I reckon it looked pretty awesome. But you get a quest to take out a bunch of kobolds who are destroying pumpkin fields. So pumpkin fields, and by the way, through that you gain access, and it's the day after. I am spoilers for day 58, but I may as well take you through it anyway. So as part of that quest, you need to place pumpkin fields, which is this room here. Let's just clear this room out first. This one attracts humanoids, by the way. Just realized my health is getting low. Alright. So, yeah, so here is your pumpkin fields. To me, it's just a field, really, not pumpkin field, but anyway. In the other games, they didn't call it pumpkin field, they just called it a field. So, anyways, you need to place one of these, and to get the pumpkin guys or pumpkin kobolds to appear, it needs to be, well, this room needs to have a sun source, so, like, it needs to have sun radiating, tiles nearby, like rooms and, you know, corridors and stuff. And also, it only appears on a Sun Guardian Day. So Guardian Days you see through... Guardian Day is this symbol. So Attribute Day is this one. Guardian Day is that one. Oh my god, I actually understand this stuff now. And, you know, it's just from when I had to translate all the rulebook stuff. That made me really read up on all the game lore and rules and things. Yeah, anyway, so on Sunday, if you come on a sunny day, so not Sunday, but like a sunny day, then on one of these, most likely they will appear. If they don't, well, sucks to be you. Because then you got to wait another week until, you know, you're back to that day where you'll get Sundays again. So that's Pumpkin Leader. Pumpkin Leader is this... Where is it? Not that one. Was it a side quest or a primary quest? I thought it was a main quest. Yeah, well, there it is. Pumpkin Leader. So, defeat Pumpkin Mask Group. And the main thing was to defeat its leader. Okay, so that was translated. the research into that was... Oh, into the pumpkin enemy was also translated. Where is that one? I think it's in Demi. Yep, that one. Pumpkin kobold. A kobold wearing a pumpkin helmet. That's these guys. As you can see. It's basically a kobold just wearing a pumpkin helmet. So if you want to get a helmet like I got, try and get those on the sunny days and maybe you'll get one too. For day, that was all for day 57. 58, I've kind of delved into some of it. So, there's a conversation with Frederick regarding unlocking the field kit, or the pumpkin field kit. I've already shown you what a pumpkin field looks like. I also got translated giant worm thing that drops from the giant worms that appear on the previous level. So there's a big giant boss worm thing that's very difficult to fight. Good source of experience for your orb characters, but it's a difficult battle. And I also got the pocket watch quest finished. So that was the key item of a pocket watch. I don't think I shouldn't have that because I gave that to Claire. That shouldn't appear in here. No. Yeah, because I gave it to her. Alright. Doing conversation with Claire, which was just the completion of the pocket watch quest. A conversation with the professor. He gives you a side quest to seek out giant moths. That's on this level. So they appear in the storage rooms. Now, they only appear in storage rooms that are nearby to a field. So, let's see if we get lucky. And if I've got any... I don't think I've got storage up there. Can I have a look? Don't think it is. No, not that one. We'll see if we can get one to appear. Since I'm recording this, I probably won't get one appearing, but you never know. You never know. Sometimes I get surprises, so we'll see. Now, by the way, the moths are not restricted to sunny days, unlike the pumpkin kobold guys. Let's see if we get one. That's a new, and the giant moth is a new character that is unique to this game. As per always, there is always the odd chance that maybe an item will drop that there's like a very low drop rate. If that happens, then no, I've not translated it. Like, but there's very few left that I don't have at this point. I'm probably going to jinx it, but like, there shouldn't be much, if anything. I will say I do like the orb character component in this. It's better than the new creature thing. The only negative to it is that the characters can only last a certain amount of time before they disappear. Whereas my main negative with this game is it doesn't have mystery dungeons. It calls one aspect mystery dungeons, but they're not. They're fixed. So, you know, I've mentioned it in the other ones. That's like my biggest gripe with this game. The fact that they got rid of that. So that removes one of the dynamic things that was in the game. And procedurally generated dungeons. Like, you know, that was cool. Both of the first two games had it. The other one is they got rid of hero characters. Oh, well, not hero characters. Oh, like, elite characters. So, like, whenever you get monsters appearing, there was, like, a chance of, like, an elite one appearing, or champion one, and then that one would have chances of having better loot and stuff. They got rid of that as well. So that sucks. Everything else is like I like in this game. Oh, I'll say the story. It was probably better in the other games. Well, probably number 2 actually. 2 had a really extensive one about hell versus heaven and stuff, and like a bit like Diablo, and very interesting stuff actually. And you got to really delve into the different elemental realms. Like there was portals you could go through, and there was like ruins and things. You do briefly get to do that in this game, but it's for like 2 seconds. Like you walk up a hallway and talk to someone, and then you leave, and that's it. Whereas in the other ones, like had big open areas for you to go fight monsters and explore, and it wasn't just about talking to characters. There was like unique enemies that would appear in those ones too, which had items that you needed to do certain things and get quests done. So, you know. Anyway, but that doesn't exist in this one, and that sucks. And I can tell that this game they must have reused some of the content from number 2, because whenever you do actually go to the elemental places, you see little glimpses of the levels, and it completely matches what they looked like in Dungeon Maker 2. So clearly they borrowed a lot from that. And also they have the same music sometimes, but it's only in very specific things. Like if one of the more difficult enemies appears, you get there's a particular music track that plays. I've heard that numerous times when I've been playing through this. Oh, here. Oh, this is another one of the new enemies that... Well, not a new enemy. This was in the other games. But this enemy, the Centaur... Well, it's really called Centaur. In this game, it's called Kentaros or something. But basically, it's a Centaur. They're not that difficult to fight. As you can see, the combat in this one is a lot more fluid and faster than in the other games. I actually really like that. It took a bit of getting used to at first, but combat is definitely much better in this one compared to the other games. Keeps you on your toes a lot more. And actually, at other times, it's very strategic. Having to use the orb characters and thinking of which one is the best for the situation and all that kind of stuff. In the other one, you didn't have that. You just, like in number 2, you had the orb character, and then and it's more you were leveling up different forms and things. There's nothing like that in this one. Here's another new enemy type that's in this one, the purple Elrons, or Elrians. They drop a particular type of like poison herb thing that you need, that you can get a meal recipe from. As you can see, the Griffin character only lasts for a few seconds and he disappears. No, we didn't get the giant moth to appear. Okay. Anyway, so there is the giant moth. I can show you the R file entry for him anyway. Giant moth, where's the insect? There we go. Giant moth is this thing. So it looks like that. Well, you won't see it like that, but you know, that's what it is. So the text translation has been done. There was like 2 different lots of translations. There's the initial translation of what you get, even like when you get the side quest to defeat it, you'll see this in a shadow kind of form, like in darkness around it. And so there's one description there. Then once you defeat one and then pay for the research to be handed back at the research lab, you then get a new description, and so I've translated both of those. And also there was an item, the Golden Eagle Bracelet. Do I have that? Bracelet. Oh, there we go. Golden Eagle Bracelet. That's this one. So that was it for day 58. Taking us into day 59. No conversations in the morning. Once I went to the dungeon, we got the Bastard Sword, so that's the weapon I'm using at the moment. I highly recommend this weapon if you can get your hands on one. A very fast attack speed, very wide radius of attack. Very, very good. It's a very nice, nimble weapon. You can really just take out stuff really fast with it. It takes a bit of getting used to, but that combined with the abilities that you get for longsword can be beneficial. Alright, so that's Bastard Sword. Crest Shield is the next one. Oh no, I'm using that at the moment. That's Crest Shield right here. Ice Sword was the next one. Ice Sword... Ice Sword. There we go, Ice Sword. There's Ice Sword, White Hood, which the next one is White Hood. And Ice Sword, by the way, that drops off Ice Gargoyles. White Hood, which you get from the Goblin Shamans. I think I'm actually wearing one right now. Oh no, that was what I was wearing before. So before I was wearing the pumpkin helmet, that was what I had on my character for a little while. Pretty good if you're looking for something that gives you a bit of intelligence, extra intelligence for increased spell effects. That's this one here. And that was it for day 59. Not a lot happened. Well, there was some stuff happened on day 59. Alright, day 60. Nothing in the morning. The main things that were translated: poisonous Alriune leaves, that drops from the poison Aurons. That is... this one. That's poison Alriune leaves. Then wind element was the next thing that was translated. Wind element. Oh, that's an enemy. Oh, I've jumped around a little bit. No, the next item was Wind Crystal. So if you manage to defeat a Wind Elemental, or Wind Element as they're called in this one, there's a certain chance of getting these. So there's Wind Crystal. And that was it for the dungeon. When I returned back to town, one conversation with Elena and Frederick were translated. We got an extra meal, which is steamed liver leaves. So that if you do happen to get the poison Alriune leaves, or purple Alriune leaves, as I've called it, then you'll get that meal recipe. New monster research of poison Elrons, who you just saw. And let me get to it in R file. That's this one. That's translated. Wind Element was the next one. So I finally managed to defeat one of these. That's how I got the Wind Crystal. So that's translated. And that was it for day 60. Day 61. The main things on day 61... Oh, that's right. you get a letter, because if you manage to get 15 meals, you'll get the title of Family Chief. That's this one here. So, unfortunately, there's no real good reward for getting it. You just get a whole bunch of food ingredients for things that you already have. Nothing special, but you get the title or the achievement. Really, that's what I guess the titles are. They're more like achievements. In the dungeon, the only thing I got on that trip was Mighty Arm Ring. Am I wearing that right now? I can't remember. Let's see. I think I am. Yeah, that's this one. So, pretty decent. Gives you +4 to strength. So that's probably something worth having. Depending on what you're going for with your character. New monster research into Kentaurus. So that is the centaur that we saw before. Those ones don't spawn a lot. You'll see them every now and then. But we saw one then, you know. But you don't encounter them a lot. And there was like that in the other games too. I think it's under human. Yeah, unfortunately, this is another one of those major ones with like very little letter spacing available. How are you supposed to say Kentaurus in 2 letters? You tell me. Yeah, so annoying. Even that with like half-length fonts and stuff couldn't fix it, because then my 2 would become 4. I mean, sure, 4's better than 2, but it still doesn't really say it properly. And it's not even a right... Kentauros isn't really the English translation anyway. It should be like centaur, but anyway. So I showed you Giant Moth. That was the other thing that was translated on that particular day. This one. And that was it for day 61. Now, day 62, nothing happened. I did a trip and nothing happened. Which takes us into the final day, day 63. Nothing happened in the morning. In the dungeon, I delved into... Well, actually, no, before I get to that. I got the new item of Pumpkin Head. That's the item I'm wearing at the moment. I want to keep this music going that's playing at the moment. Oh, it has a very nice, soothing kind of thing to it. Anyway, that's this one. So that was translated. Very decent helmet. Gives you a +3 to AML, so like your armor level. It gives you a +50 resistance rating against impact. So impact is like stun. So basically, like, you know, the better your rating, the better your immunity to being stunned. You know? So it's pretty good in that regard. I don't know what the hell the little bit over here is. I have no idea. I mean, I can't read Japanese. And that one's, the translations doesn't even get it even, because it's just so, like, small. Yeah, anyway. So that was translated. We had a conversation with Elena back at town, which you get for completing the pumpkin leader quest. You get the monster research into pumpkin kobolds. I showed you a pumpkin kobold before, but if you have forgotten, that is this one here. That was translated. A new item of broken armor. I don't think I have that on me at the moment, but we can do a little bit of spoilers, and this means I'm gonna have to stop with where I am at the moment with the nice music, but I'll show you where I was doing some work just before the recording. So let me rewind a little bit. So, if you come to the 9th floor and you're looking for where the ruins are, because you're gonna start all the way over here somewhere around this bit. You need to travel down this way. and this is the ruin section. So there's nothing really spectacular. The main thing, well, there's one item that's okay. It's not a very big ruin section. Some have bigger sections than others. So you come in here. There's a chest. In this chest, you get the broken iron armor. That is this one. Now, I'm assuming what happens when you go back to town, the blacksmith will be able to use that to make iron armor, which will be the new type of armors and things. I'm currently using bronze stuff because that's what you get back at the ice level. You start getting lots of the bronze armor. But then I never got anything better than that. As in for ore. But with this level, I'm guessing you finally do start getting that kind of stuff. So anyway, once you do explore a bit further, and this bit is translated, you come up to this elevator. The monsters in the deeper levels seem to be stronger. There must be rules separating them. I wonder who built these ruins. Most of their strange devices still work. Just waiting for someone to come? Like this elevator, which does not move. I sense the power of the fire spirit. Let's go ask how to fix it. So, if you do get this far and delve that far, that's as far as has been translated. So, anything related to the 9th floor beyond this has not been translated. So, if you get that far, that's as far as things being in a legible, state that you can know what the hell's going on. I can guess what would happen is you'd go back to town, and then you'd get access to some new room types and floor types to place fire. You'd have to tilt this floor to fire, and then the elevator would work. I mean, based on how this game has been. Now, what I know already is where that goes. Even though I haven't got as far as translating and playing the level, I do know where that... I can tell where that's going to spot. I mean, where that's going to go to. And I'll take you there. Because once we've done this, then I've shown you pretty much everything that's been done. The only thing I could do is take you through the level, but, we've been recording for the last 48 minutes already, and I'll leave it for you to discover on your own. But I've shown you the basic new extra rooms that you do get access to, both of which were present in the previous two Dungeon Maker games, the Pumpkin Field, or just Fields as they were called in the other ones, and Bars, which was also in the other ones. Now, back on the Ruin level, or ground floor. Now, I forget which one specifically it is. It's one of the ones on the right. It's either this one at the top or the one at the bottom. Another thing with combat I really like in this one is the ability to switch weapons really fast. I mean, you can do that in the others too, but it's just that in the other ones there's no need to most of the time. In this one, it actually does make sense to change weapons, like for different purposes. Cool, this is the spot. So this is where that will go to. It's basically guaranteed, because that's like a fire door. I still haven't worked out how to open these doors, by the way. By the way, one thing I'm going to ask at the end, I'll ask it now, because I've now shown you everything that's been translated. So, firstly, I'll ask the usual things. So, firstly, if you've enjoyed what you've seen and you want to support the project, you can find me on Patreon. I put in the description of every video where the Patreon is. So, if you want to donate towards the project, feel free from there. If you want to join up, that's an option too. Or you can also subscribe on YouTube to keep up to date with all these devlogs that I upload for the game, and also just to see what else I'm doing. I do reviews of games occasionally, play other games too. Haven't had much time for them as much. This has been my main focus, but I have been slowly playing other games. Now, the other things, so the usuals still. If you have skills in ROM hacking and stuff, and you know how to implement either half length or variable fixed, oh, what is it? Variable width fonts, then please give me a shout. I would love to have that implemented in this game. That would exponentially like improve things. No longer would be restricted to like abbreviated forms like you see here. Like I mean, item is pretty self-explanatory, stats, AI, but like R file could actually say research file. You know, gear could say gear file. Quest could say quests. You know, rec could say record. All those kind of things. I can't do that like because like that's beyond my skill level, but like if you have skills in these kind of things, that would be massively appreciated. Also, if you know, so that's the first bit. There's like several bits that could use like ROM hacking help. On the subject of like fonts, I tried to get lowercase letters for all letters of the alphabet working, but this game only supports certain ones. It doesn't support others. So if I even try to use them, it just gives like an up arrow thing. Just doesn't like it. So if you have skills in that and you know exactly how to do that to this game, even just doing that, I could just use lowercase for a lot of things, which would make a lot of, so it wouldn't be like every character shouting at you, you know, like in capitals for all the conversation. That would be fantastic to have that. The only other thing is with ROM hacking is with images and things. So like how you see, actually you see it right here. If you see like how this is, that is all stored in an image file. Just as this here, that's an image, it's not text in the game's code that I can fix. So that's not something I can just type and change. Like it's an actual image that has to be edited. So that's like beyond my level. Like I've tried using some of the resources that I have access to, and that didn't help. So I've got a funny feeling the images are like compressed in some like container file somewhere. So that would be really helpful to have that. Okay, so that's the ROM hacking side of things. There's other things I would really like if for anyone who's actually playing this. So if you for this next bit, it's towards the people who are actually downloading and playing the patches that I'm putting out. Now, this one, if you figured out how to open doors like this, like ones that say fire door is shut. If you figure that out yourself, like how to get past them, because I haven't been able to figure it out, please let me know. That would be very helpful. The other one, there's a particular quest that I got early on, and I've never been able to figure it out. Like I just can't figure it out. So that is this one. So what this is, medicinal plants. So what it says is you need to go and pick. See, it says get medicinal herbs. Location, ruins, large leaves. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, I haven't found anything with large leaves except for... like, I would have thought maybe them, but that's not like large. Not man-eaters, that doesn't fit the description. It said that the actual translation was large fleshy leaves. I thought maybe this one, but I've gotten everything that drops from that. It drops two things, like and neither of them is like restoration kind of stuff. There's the whole plant, and I already got all its drops, so it's definitely not that. The only thing I could think of is this one, which drops Rafflesia nectar, but I had that item at the time when I got the quest, and I spoke to the person that gave it, and it still wasn't it. So I have no idea. So if you have played this and you actually did find the item, but then you just had, when you went to town, the person, you know, it just all went all Japanese. If you managed to figure that out and you know where the restorative things are from plants, please let me know. Add a comment to this video and tell me where I can do that, so that then I can do it in this and translate the text for it. Plus, that would be good for me for my FAQ that I supply with this. It gives like a, you know, like, it's kind of like a walkthrough in some ways, or just like hints and tips like that I know from that I've uncovered playing this thing. All right. Yeah, so that's everything. I know that's quite a bit of information. So that is all the work that's been done on the project. As I said, if you know, if you're willing to assist in any of the ways that I asked for assistance, that would be fantastic. If not, that's fine too. If you would like to play the latest demo release, which covers everything to the 8th floor, so if you're doing a standard playthrough, which would be to the 10th floor, now I'm assuming there that if this game is going to end, because there's an earlier conversation you have with Frederick where he asks if this is going to be a long, like if the end is near or far for you, and if you say near, I've got a funny feeling then that sets things in motion that the game will end at the 10th. And if you say there's a long way to go, it's probably to the 20th. And I am translating both. Now, so that's going to factor in. So if this does go for a standard playthrough and end at the 10th, then the game is now, for that, translated 80%. So for every one floor I do, that's adding 10% on. Whereas for an extended playthrough, we're looking at, we're probably around 40% or something. Will it be 40? Yeah, about 40, because about 40%. Because, like, you know, 9 and 10 would make the last 10. So about 40%. And then there'd be, like, the final 10 levels. So, yeah, I've been working on this since December of last year. So we're now 6 months, well, actually more like 6 and a bit, because it was like around middle towards the end of December when I started. So it's about, I would say realistically, it's more than anything about 6 months of work anyway. It's like 6 months of work for someone who's never done ROM hacking in his life, and I've managed to get this done. So I say I'm proud of myself for having this done based on 0 skill level, well, 0 knowledge before this. Anyway, so that does it for Devblog number 25. Man, we're at 25 now. Yeah, so it does it for Devblog number 25. I will put the next demo up, because this time around I've done a little bit further and I didn't find anything else. So other than the town bits, that will be straight after this. So that's going to be, that will be covered in the next one. So yes, so the next demo will be released once this video is up. And I'll, as usual, update the first post on my thread on romhacking.net. And yeah, whereas if you're more just waiting until this is finished, I warn you, this may be a long time before it's fully done. Now, you know, there's the stages of getting this done. There's the playable, and then there's the perfect. So playable will be like once I get to 10, for example, and then at that point, a standard playthrough is fully playable in a fashion where you know what's going on. You know, for the majority of it. And plus, I've got the FAQ that I have with this that fills in the blanks. And then there's, once I get to level 20, which is where I'm assuming the game ends. I'll find out when we get that far. So then at that point, the game's playable, still not polished. And then there's the perfect, where if I get some assistance later on down the line for people who know how to do the font stuff and change the images and things, if we can do that, then we can make this into a really polished, beautiful thing. And that's how I would much prefer this to be, by its completion. But if I never get the assistance, like I've asked for help and no one's ever helped so far. But if I do get that, then we'll get that. If it doesn't, that's fine too. I mean, there's not the end of the universe. It just means that this won't be as great as it could be. But I'll still be happy with the work that I've done. Alright, anyways. So that, as I said, that does it for my Devblog number 25. When you see the next one, which, going by like how long it is between Devblogs, maybe it'll be 2 weeks. We'll wait and see. It depends how much content and how much time I have available too. So as long as things go as they've been going, probably in about 2 weeks-ish, maybe a little bit more, we'll have floor number 9, and then there's only about one more to go, and then we've got the full standard playthrough done. Alright, so I'll see you guys in the next devlog. Until then, guys, have a good one.